We're here in New Hampshire for Outside the Fame with the beautiful Mount Washington as the backdrop. It's a favorite place of former New England Patriot Rob Ninkovich. Now, he's already reached the peak of the NFL world as a two-time Super Bowl champion. But Rob's not pushing those sleds around the football field anymore. He's now driving sleds through the trails. Rob Ninkovich is one of those Patriot players that seem to show up at the perfect time to eventually become an integral part of the Patriots dynasty. Some may say it was Bill Belichick once again finding that key player to help the team plug a hole. Ninkovich played ball at Purdue primarily as a defensive end and eventually became a fifth-round pick by the New Orleans Saints in the 2006 NFL Draft. But after a few years of injuries and being shuffled back and forth between New Orleans and Miami, he finally received that phone call that changed his life.
I'm on the second hole playing golf, and I get a phone call. It's Bill Belichick, and he said, basically, hi Rob, it's Bill Belichick with the Patriots. We have a flight out tonight, and we have an opportunity for you to see what you can do with it. So basically, it was just, there was an opportunity, and it's up to me to make the best of it. And it was a one-day tryout, and I remember being in the car driving from Boston Logan to Foxborough and thinking to myself, where the heck is this place?
I know, it is.
Why is it so far from the stadium? It was really just one of those things where fate, came in and took over, and this is where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be a New England Patriot and come to New England. That was my fate.
Yeah, the rest was history after that, right? So
Yep.
We'll skip ahead to, so you're now with the New England Patriots, which
Yes.
had won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years before you got there. And you go into the locker room and there's the likes of Tom Brady, Randy Moss, Junior Seau, Teddy Bruschi, some pretty big names.
Scary names. I say scary.
You say scary?
Yeah, I say scary. When you walk into that locker room.
Yeah, and how old were you at that time?
I was 25.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I retired, I was 30, or when I stopped playing. I don't
Okay,
like to say retired. I like to say graduated.
Okay.
When I graduated
Yes,
from
I
my
like that.
football career, I was 32. So I would have
Okay.
been 33 if I had played 12 years. But
Right.
I was 25 years old. I remember walking into that locker room and thinking, I got some huge shoes to fill. And those shoes being the
head
current
coach.
head coach for the New England
Yes, number
Patriots. Go
50,
figure.
number
Mike
50, number
Vrabel.
50.
He must have had a size like 18 or 20 shoe, because when I got there, I was number 45. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And 45 is a terrible number. It's just, it's not a pretty
Right,
number.
it's not pretty.
So I get through training camp. Everything's great. Have a great preseason. Earn my spot as like the 53rd guy on the roster.
Right.
The special teams, having to run down, do all my, pay my dues. I walk into week 1 we were playing the Buffalo Bills. That was the game. It was a pretty crazy game. We won by a field goal. Tom's first game back from his ACL.
Oh, okay.
Which there's a lot of clips of Bill saying, hey, Tom, just settle down. And he's like, what? And he's like, you threw it over his head. So it's right to him, And that was my first game. And I remember looking at the number and saying, like, to myself, all right, well, this is my opportunity, and this number is a very good number that a lot of people respect. So I had to make sure that I tried to represent,
Live up,
live up. And, at the end of the day, like a true perfectionist or an athlete, like I don't remember any good plays. I think about all the
Really?
plays I missed. I don't ever think about the good. I always think about like the stuff that I needed to work on, and I think that that's probably the sickness.
I think that's Bill Belichick's mentality as
Yeah,
well.
I think it's Tom's. I think a lot of guys, when you have a collection of guys like that, and they're always constantly working on what they need to do better and constant improvement,
Right.
that's when you create like the special Super Bowl team.
When we come back on Outside the Fame, we talk to Rob about his memories from those memorable Super Bowls. And later on in the show, I join him for one of his many outdoor passions, snowmobiling in New Hampshire. This episode of Outside the Fame is brought to you by Dufficy Enterprises, one of your local Domino's franchises. Rob, Ninkovich played 8 seasons for the New England Patriots, and they were some of the team's greatest. He played in 3 Super Bowls, experiencing both the highs and the lows of the NFL's biggest game.
I don't want to, and I do want to address the first Super Bowl experience for you.
Yes.
It was not the greatest outcome, but just talk about that first experience and getting there.
Playoff football is very intense, and you feel it, right? You can feel the intensity in the stadium, you feel it in the pregame, and then you definitely feel it when after the game's over. You're like, wow, I really wrecked myself on that one. So it was my first Super Bowl, and when I went into that game, I didn't know what to expect, and you have all these emotions and all these things that you're trying to deal with at the time. And for me, I thought we were winning that game. And there was a moment where I was on a knee, and I remember looking up at the scoreboard, and I thought to myself, we're going to win. It's going to be my first Super Bowl, and we end up losing. So I learned
to the Giants, by the way.
To the Giants, and I learned a valuable lesson that game on never look at the scoreboard until the game's over.
So it's 2012, and you're with the Patriots as the outside linebacker, but then in comes rookie Dante Hightower, massive human being with mad skills.
Massive.
And you find out that you're going to switch positions to defensive end. What are your first initial thoughts about that? How do you feel about one position over the other?
Honestly?
Yeah.
I was super happy.
You were? Okay,
yes,
good.
Well,
Good.
The position of linebacker is difficult. You have a lot of things that you have to do. You have to go backwards, forwards, left, right. Defensive end, honestly, you could teach anyone to play D end, all right? See ball, get ball. Get your hand on the dirt. Go get the football. Go get the guy with the ball. Go tackle that guy.
You were pretty good about sacking
used
the quarterback.
I used to get there
you were like a little sack machine.
That's it. Yeah,
I like that.
Give me an opportunity.
And that's got to be fun too. You sack the quarterback, plays over.
Plays over.
Plays
well,
over.
I did have a sack, fumble, and recovery in overtime to end the game. A walk-off sack, fumble, recovery against the Jets.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, that was a good play. You could look it up. Maybe you could throw a little highlight right now.
I'm so happy that you talked about it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Turns out we don't have that highlight, but we trust Rob. Now let's get into Rob's next Super Bowl appearance, and that would be against Seattle in Super Bowl 49.
Every great team and every great Super Bowl, it's going to come down to the end. It's going to come down to 1 or 2 plays. Who makes them, who doesn't.
But there's so many things that happen there, and you're probably questioning if all those things don't fall into place, like we might not win. But it's amazing that all of that fell into place.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing where you
What do you remember about
the
Malcolm Butler thing? I mean,
the Malcolm Butler play,
incredible.
The Malcolm Butler play, we had a play in practice. I think everyone's heard or seen that we practice certain plays. We had a goal line call where we bring in an extra corner, and when that play happened, I thought they were going to run the ball. The ball literally, I'm on the left side, so when I get off, it's a quick 3-step drop, like the ball's coming out hot. And I remember literally, like the second I touched the tackle, the ball went right over my shoulder. And as I watched the ball come right over my head, kind of.
Yep.
Thank God I didn't tip it or anything. I look back, and then Malcolm just shot out of a cannon, just like.
I mean,
I didn't even know he caught it. So when it happened so fast, I saw it, and he actually hit the receiver too. So it was kind of like a really hard catch to make.
Right.
Like that catch was amazing. Like just to grab that ball.
Right.
And for him to do that in that moment, I mean,
that was
the tears and the first thing that I did was find my family, look up at him, point, and that's like the best moment. My daughter,
and
daughter
plus,
was a year
it was
old.
his birthday.
It was my birthday.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday.
So
February
you could
1st.
not have wrote a better script for your birthday.
That's it. Doing that kind of established the new Patriot chapter.
Yep.
It was the new Patriots with new guys. That was special. Like that game for me was probably the best game personally that I played in, because there was a lot of big plays. There was big moments. I made the plays and made them when I had to make them, and that'll forever be something that I'm proud of.
So 2 years later, here you are back in the Super Bowl with the Patriots players, and another wild game, a just crazy game. I mean, third quarter, they're up 28-3.
It was embarrassing, number one. So I think in that moment, the guys in the locker room, when we walked into the locker room, we were more focused on coming out in the second half and putting together a respectable performance. And there was no rah-rah, cheer, let's go. It was, we know what we can do.
Right.
Let's go out and do it one play at a time. Let's be the consistent team that we know that we are. And you know, that's what it took. And I remember walking back to the locker room.
And you're kind of a veteran at this time.
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
are a veteran.
I was a veteran. It was my 11th.
Who's talking in the locker room mostly?
It was Julian
Everybody?
was like
Julian?
just kind of saying like, come on, we can do this. We got to get back in it. You know, there were guys just saying, listen, we just got to get back into our way of doing things. And you know, the Hightower sack fumble, it was such a massive moment that you could feel instantly a shift. And that's when we just came and just really took over the rest of the game. And overtime, when Jayme scored, we just started jumping up and down like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he had a heck of a game, James White.
It was such an amazing, and James White, another terrific person, like amazing person, great teammate, great football player, all those things that you have to have a Super Bowl
And I mean,
team.
it turned out the way it was, the greatest comeback in
The
Super Bowl
greatest
history.
comeback, yeah.
So, I mean, you needed to be put in that position, I think, in order to complete the unbelievable.
Yes.
So it was just incredible.
And that was Rob Ninkovich's final game. Coming up on Outside the Fame, we will talk to Rob about his post-NFL life and take part in it as we board our sleds for a little ride.
So we're here today because Rob is invested into Moms, this beautiful place here. By the way, do you know anything about the old man?
The old man on the mountain right there?
The old man on the mountain behind us,
well, he
secretly watching us the whole time.
He fell a few years back, and
Yeah.
now we put him back up. So this place at night is a little scary, but anyway.
He is a little bit frightening, but
Yeah.
I'm sure he has a great story.
But he's awesome.
He has a good story.
No, so I grew up in the Midwest, and one of my best friends was a professional motorcycle guy, and you know, I was always into it, and I love cars. I'm a car fanatic, and the land up here, the property, I mean, you get up here over the notch and you see the mountains, and you get up into the mountains and you snowmobile or you get on a side-by-side. It's like therapeutic.
It's totally therapy.
It is
I
so
agree
therapeutic.
with you.
And you know, 4 years ago, there was an opportunity to get involved in some land and real estate up here. And I thought, and that's another thing about, you know, some of these towns, you know, Gorham, Berlin, New Hampshire, to try and bring more up here, because you know, there's a group of people up here that are beautiful people, that are great people, that they need the influx of people coming to check it out, you know,
and the views aren't bad.
The views are amazing.
They're
the hiking
incredible.
is amazing. Mountain biking is amazing. There's so many things. Like if you want to just take an hour drive or 2 hour drive and come up to this area, it's such a great spot to come. That's why, you know, I came up here and there was an opportunity to get the property, and the property here it's pretty spectacular.
I mean, it's massive.
It's spectacular in a sense, like you're so close to the state park, and you have access to all these different things. It almost feels like another opportunity to help and grow and, you know, create, you know, because this is a spot that's beautiful, that should have tourism.
Well, we couldn't wait any longer. It was time to get outside on the snow, and that meant first gearing up.
We got my guy Junior here, the GM at Moms Jericho, and he's going to get you all fitted up and set up, okay?
I'm feeling good about the safety thing.
Actually, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll get you nice and warm, bundled up.
Okay.
I heard you brought your ski helmet with you.
I did bring my ski helmet. Listen, wasn't given a heads up on what to bring.
Squeeze that on.
It's so heavy.
Hold on, we got to try it like this because your buckles are a little.
Okay.
There you go. And then, can you see?
Oh!
Can you see? Watch your finger. So sorry. How was that?
Yeah, I can see.
Trying to look the part was one thing, but I needed a quick tutorial from Rob on how to drive one of these things.
I'm so freaked out.
Huh?
I'm a little freaked out.
It's okay. Hold on, let's get this up. There you go.
Holy, the bumps are a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Just throw me off a little bit.
You kind of use your legs a little bit.
I kind of felt like I was I was getting a little stiff though.
Not bad for your first time though.
I don't know. All of a sudden I was like, did I take a wrong turn? And then I kept looking and I saw you guys behind me, thank God, because I was like, where are they? This helmet is really heavy. It's like, I feel like a whole lot of weight on I'm very top heavy right now. I feel like I could just fall over.
What do you think it feels like to play football?
We're done.
Well, Jayme, after a long first snowmobile adventure,
Woo-hoo!
there is nothing that I want more
Then?
than an ice cold Teddy Brewski.
Teddy Brewski,
Let's
yes.
go.
Stay with us. We'll have more with Rob Ninkovich when we return on Outside the Fame. All right, I am here with Jeff Duffesey, president of Duffesey Enterprises. Welcome, Jeff, and thanks for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me, Jayme.
I want to ask you about Duffesey Enterprises and what it entails and when it was created.
Duffesey Enterprises, obviously named after the namesake here, right? It's we're a Domino's franchise owner. Started in 1989, so we've been at it for 35 years.
Cool.
17 locations now in Massachusetts and 1 in Rhode Island.
I know that you personally are really involved in a lot of charitable organizations, specifically the Hockomock YMCA. Just talk about your relationship with them and what you've done with them over the years.
So I got involved with the Hockomock in the 1990s, and Ed Hurley, he kind of pulled me in a little bit more and more, and I got the opportunity to serve on the board and ultimately to become the chair of the board. But, you know, my big passion was the integration initiative. And that started off in partnership with the Hockomock and Ed and Pete Brock.
The Hockomock YMCA's integration initiative provides children, teens, and adults with special needs and their families an opportunity to be included in all aspects of the YMCA community. The big fundraising event for the integration initiative is the annual Legends Ball, and that is where Jeff first met Rob Ninkovich.
We felt some commonalities, and for me it was like talking to a college friend that I hadn't talked to in a long time. He just has a great humility about himself. I could just get the energy from him about being so engaged. So Ed said, look, maybe Rob will team up with you, and it was like, I don't know.
A match made in heaven.
It was unbelievable.
It really
and so
was.
we played back and forth, and that banter continued, and we set a record for raising money that day.
Well, congratulations on your company and what you do to give back, which I think speaks volumes about you as a leader and an owner of all those stores.
Oh, thank you, Jayme. I appreciate it.
I also do the Hockomock YMCA, the Legends Ball every year.
Legends Ball every year. I'm a legend.
So fun.
Got it. I think it
I'm
was
not
back
a
in, like,
legend, but they
14.
call me a legend.
You're a legend. Come
I'm
on.
not a legend. 2017, 2 Super Bowls under your belt, and you retire.
Honestly, the real moment was after the Super Bowl. My mom asked me, what else do you need to do in your career that you haven't already done? And
true.
I just thought about that a lot, and I thought about the future, and if I played 12, 13, 14 years, would I need a knee replacement sooner? Would I need a shoulder?
Yeah, back
so
surgery and this
football,
and that,
especially the way that I played, I was just full
Very
go,
physical.
and I was trying to get after it, and I had to throw myself around, and I wanted to be able to run around and walk and throw at in my 40s, 50s, and football is really very stressful.
now that you are graduated, you dabbled in media a little bit.
I did some media. I love the media stuff.
Yep. ESPN
I did
for a little
ESPN
bit.
for 4 years. I didn't necessarily love going to New York City, so it was probably in the best interest that I didn't keep doing that.
Another huge reason for you stepping away from the game is you got a family. Tell us about your family.
So I'm married to my lovely wife, Paige. We've been together for 19 years. We met in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We had our daughter, Olivia, who is 11. My buddy, Everett, who's 8. And my little guy, Wyatt, who's 5.
So he's got his family, his charity work, and his love of the outdoors to keep him busy well into the future. But we asked Rob for some final words on his football career.
The last time I ever put on a football helmet and pads was the Atlanta game. Playing football. So, you know, I'm very proud of my career. I'm very proud of the teammates that I had. I'm very proud that I was a part of such a great organization with great head coach, leadership, all the above. My whole career, at the end of the day, when I think back on it, I'm proud, I was resilient, I was dependable, and that's all that you can ask for.
We're here at Big Day Brewing. I mean, everyone has been so gracious. I love New Hampshire.
Gotta love it.
Yes.
Cheers.
It's like God's country.
It is.
Woo!
This episode of Outside the Fame is brought to you by Dufficy Enterprises, one of your local Domino's franchises.